right now. Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC, Pirates basketball and baseball, and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia, Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next. What's going on, everyone? Thrift, Barringer here alongside Richard Holdridge. It's the Georgia, Alabama Sports Live show, and we are presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC, Buffalo Rock Pepsi, 40 Eye Care, and, of course, Kinetic Credit Union. Big Rich, what up, man?
Hey, what is going on, Thrift?
We got a jam-packed show in store for you tonight, a lot that we're going to be getting into. We just came off the hill of Brookstone getting that Game 3 dominant win over Bullock and moving on to the semifinals for consecutive years. We're going to talk about that. High school soccer playoff update, Columbus United, Columbus Lions, Clingstones, and we also got unsolicited hot take that's going to be coming up as well. Richard, a lot happened in the world of sports around our area.
Yeah, a couple things that we do want to mention. Marcus Brooks officially retires from the Columbus Lions. Jalen Bush has committed to Shorter University. Some other sports headlines that actually appeared later this afternoon.
You're exactly right about that. And we're going to get into all that, plus some NBA conference finals takes and more. Make sure to tune into the Sports Vision Morning Show. Tomorrow, me and DJ Jones will be on from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And got Greg Mathis coming on the show tomorrow. We also got Jack Patterson and Sam Mitchell. It's a who's who, and Big Rich will be in there the first hour. So how about that? We will have a great show in store. That is Sports Vision.
I want to say something. Two of the teams that Sam Mitchell played for are in the conference finals. How about that?
Yes, they are. All right. So a lot that we're getting into, and I don't know where to start other than let's just do reaction to what we just came from. Brookstone hosting Bullock Academy and a winner-take-all to the quarterfinals. They were the only team left. This game was the only game left. Every other part of the bracket from every classification was filled out. So we knew the semifinal matchups for everyone except for the bottom quadrant of 4A. We knew FPD, number 1 seed, is taking on Athens Christian. We knew number 3 seed Tatnall Square won. Is it going to be Tatnall Square taking on Bullock at home, or they're going on the road against Brookstone? Well, Brookstone lost game 1, 6-0, and it was under a great performance by Sam Hubbard, Richard, and he was sensational in that game 1. Game 2, Brookstone came back. They had 11 straight innings. First 7 in game 1, the first 4, all 7 in game 1, the first 4 in game 2, and yet they still managed to get runs. They were getting shut out. They did not quit, the heart of a champion. And in that 5th inning, they scored 5 runs, 3 more in the 7th. They won game 2, 8-3. Brendan Neal had 11 strikeouts. He was sensational. And then in that game 3, and a winner-take-all pressure-mounted game, Luke Lowry threw a no-hitter, and the bats came alive, and they ran rule Bullock Academy. What a performance. What a series. And you think the momentum, I think, is starting to move in the favor of Brookstone. I think they keep those bats going as they head on the Tate Tatnall Square this Friday at Brookstone. What were your initial thoughts, Richard? And that game 3 and Luke Lowry coming up huge, going 6-1 now on the season.
Like you mentioned, Thrift, the heart of a champion, Rudy T. You can never underestimate the heart of a champion. Their back's against the wall. They lose game 1. Not only they lose game 1, they get shut out 7-0, and their ace went in game 1. And so all the pressure is on Brookstone to try to win game 2. They were down in game 2 with their backs against the wall. They never quit. They fought, forced a game 3. And, because of the rain, we had some delays in the games, and it finally got played today. But they were able to come out on top 10-0 in 5 innings.
Yeah, and again, they were supposed to play game 3 on Saturday, but because of baccalaureate in the morning, graduation at night for Brookstone, they had to reschedule it because it was raining in the afternoon. Then Sunday, same thing. It was raining pretty hard early on, and then they decided to reschedule the game to today, and that's where they were. They played it at 3:30, and we were glad to be there. And the Cougars stay alive, and they are moving on to the semifinals as they are trying to go back-to-back, and it's trying to be another Brookstone Glenwood State Championship year in baseball. As Tatnall Square comes in as the number 3 team, and they're a really good program, a perennial powerhouse that is known for many state championships. And Richard, we know them from basketball as they played Pacelli in the semifinals. Their football program's really good. Really, Tatnall Square in Macon is good at a lot of sports, and their facility, the Trojans facility, is absolutely breathtaking. The entire campus is incredible. Tatnall Square comes in 23-6 on the season, and they beat Strong Rock 9-2 in game 2, 9-2 in game 1, and 9-6 in game 2. Now, if you look at their schedule, again, I think that Brookstone played the tougher schedule, but both come in Brookstone comes now 24-6, but Tatnall comes in 23-6. They're ranked 31st in the state of Georgia. Big Rich. So this is a really good team. That's in the entire state. That's how good the GIAA is in baseball. Brookstone will go in 24-6 now with this win over Bullock Academy, and they are 60th in the state of Georgia. So according to Max Preps, Tatnall Square is ranked higher than Brookstone, but the arms of Brookstone with Neal, Lowry, and Kim, I don't know if there's anybody in that 4A classification that can match up with that, especially from what I saw from Lowry here in this game 3.
That's how championships are won, when you have 3 starters that could take the mound, any pressure situation. They could easily be the game 1 starter, and that's what you have with Brookstone. Even though they lost a game against Bullock Academy, you throw Brendan Neal and you throw Luke Lowry. Of course, your ace is Chinu Kim. But I am really excited about this series with Tatnall Square. I mean, they seemed like they have been a team that should be number 1 all year. I mean, they're in the same region with First Presbyterian Day. I can understand why FPD got the number 1 ranking, because they went to the championship last year. And
yep.
I think that the people who vote on this saw, Brookstone, they won the championship last year, but they lost Taft Middleton. They lost Cole Stanzel. They lost Madden Dismuke. All those players from last year's team. And so they kind of written off Brookstone, but Brookstone still has a lot of great players. Coach Mathis was talking about that senior class that was playing on the varsity team since they were sophomores. And of course, what can you say about Brandon Neal? One of the top prospects as a sophomore in the entire state of Georgia. And he showed not only on the mound, but when he's manufacturing runs. He had a 2-run single today. He was stealing bases. His glove at shortstop was incredible. I was really impressed with Maxwell Jones in center field. This might be the best center fielder in this area.
I can add this. Yeah, it's incredible on the defensive end. But I did want to add too, Richard, all the seniors stepped up big. That was Maxwell Jones' first hit of the game, came up huge. Mercer Hudson was due, and he came up big time. How about Neal and the defense? It wasn't just Maxwell, who was great in the outfield, but the defense was turning double plays. This was the best performance I've seen in a pressure situation going back to Glenwood in game 2 of that state championship game. What a performance. What a pitching performance from Luke Lowry. The bats. I mean, everything was perfect for Brookstone, and they looked like the better team.
Yeah, they look like the better team. I know that Bullock Academy taking that long trip from Statesboro. I don't know if they went back or if they stayed, but they had a 2-day layoff. I mean, these kids are just antsy. They want to get back and play baseball. I don't know if that 2-day layoff from the inclement weather had an effect on Bullock Academy. It sure didn't have effect on Brookstone. Brookstone was just playing with all this momentum, especially after taking game 2. And you kind of knew that they were refreshed. And then a quick note that we learned from Coach Mathis, 125 pitches. That is your maximum per series. So I know in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, it's Monday. Can they throw Chai-Nu Kim? I mean, he pitched on Friday, but no, that is the GIAA rules. And so we got to wait till next series.
All right. Well, congratulations. Great job to Coach Mathis. You can hear his interview immediately after the game. I was able to talk with him. Georgia Alabama Sports Live, Instagram and Facebook. Enjoyed talking with him. Richard, thank you for coming out and being a part of the broadcast. Thank you to Tyler Redmond as well. And thank you for the Brookstone administration, Beth Leatherwood and such, for being hospitable and getting us a great setup, as we'll be looking forward to Friday. Cannot wait for that. All right. Let's continue on. That's our baseball update. Brookstone in the semifinals. They're still alive. The GIAA playoffs are going on now. The GHSA has their state championships, and I know Troup County's in it. Richard, you were able to talk to Tanner Glisson on the sports beat, and we look forward to seeing Troup County, and hopefully we expand our coverage area to them next year. But for our area, Brookstone is the only team alive, and we're cheering for them. They got the semifinals. If they win the series, you know what happens. They'll be in Synovus Park next week, and I think everybody – is looking forward to
see that.
All right, let's talk soccer now, Richard, and we'll be able to go more in depth when the GIAA soccer when it comes to the Inside the GIAA show this Wednesday night. But let's talk about it. Brookstone girls, Pacelli girls, Calvary boys, and Pacelli boys. Guess what? They all won, and they all move on. Pacelli boys and girls, you were there for that Friday night. Both hosted a quarterfinal and both won, so their Pacelli boys will be on the road. Pacelli girls were host, as they will be at home this Thursday at 6 p.m. As for Calvary boys, they went on the road and beat number 3 seed Fulton Science, and Brookstone girls went on the road and won as well. So both of them will be on the road once again. But we got 4 teams in the GIAA, 2 girls, 2 boys, that have a chance to win a state championship, make it to Macon next week.
Yeah, Pacelli had no problem. The Pacelli girls 4-0 over Bullock Academy. Addie Christensen with 2 goals. Now the boys matchup against Cristo Rey. That was a great Cristo Rey team. The problem was they played a man down. They got a red card in the beginning of the first half, and it's very impossible to win when you have a man down. They held Pacelli just to 1 goal. I thought their goalkeeper had some fantastic saves. Jack Fry had that goal, and then you had the freshman sensation, Bridger Arsenault, that put the goal ahead, and Pacelli boys end up winning. They will take on Tallulah Falls on the road on Saturday this weekend. The Pacelli girls, they are going to host First Presbyterian Day. I believe that's on Thursday, and we're going to have that for you on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. The Calvary boys, what can you say about the upset? They're going to take on Stratford Academy, which is the defending 4A soccer championship. They're the champions in 4A, but a player to watch out for Calvary. And I was talking to Coach Orr. I would have loved to have live streamed and done play-by-play for Calvary soccer. We did live stream Calvary soccer this year, but we did not have an opportunity to do play-by-play for Calvary soccer because they have a sensational striker by the name of Zach Madrigal, who is going to Toccoa Falls. This kid has got like 30 goals this year. It's an incredible number. I got to go back and look at Max Preps. It's astonishing. I think it's probably the most goals out of, if you take all the soccer teams in this area, according to Max Preps, he's got the most goals. And so they got a tough road. And I'm going to talk to Coach Ian Jones on the Inside the GIAA show. He is the head coach of Stratford Academy. He's our soccer correspondent on Inside the GIAA. I'm going to ask, has he got a chance to see Calvary and what's the scouting report? Calvary, it's going to be a tough challenge, but they're taking on the defending champion Stratford Academy. The Brookstone girls, they get the upset win against the Keens Academy, and the Brookstone girls, who are the defending GIAA champions, they are taking on Stratford Academy girls. So they are the number 2 seed as well. You got Stratford boys, who are number 2 seed, Stratford girls, the number 2 seed. And boy, they would love anything than to get wins and to host the soccer championship, which is going to be at Stratford Academy next Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, I can't wait for that, Richard, and we'll be looking forward to, again, seeing those teams continue on, as we will be there Thursday night. You'll be on the call for that. I will be there for Brookstone on Friday. 2 and 5 p.m. are the two games that we will be there for the doubleheader. Should be a lot of fun, Richard. I know you're excited about being on the call for some of these games. Also, just want to make mention to everyone, we are going to be we're providing PA announcers for the NAI World Series that's going to be held at South Commons. NAI is the National Independent Athletic Association.
It's actually intercollegiate.
Excuse me. Thank you, Rich. And we will be there for that, as these are some of the top private colleges. And I kind of correlate it to being like they're between Division I and Division II. That's how good the athletes are. And we can't wait to be there. Thursday, I'll be kind of opening it up. And then Friday, Richard, you'll be there, and I'll be at Brookstone. Saturday, we'll have a tag team effort with several guys. And then Monday, same thing, me and Big Rich. And then Tuesday, I got Noah Shelton. Wednesday, I got Ricky Rogers for the championship. I'll be in Stratford. So we got a good group of guys that will be there, Rich, and looking forward to being able to do that. And that is starting this weekend, Thursday, and it's going all the way until Wednesday. All right.
Can't wait.
Let's talk now, Richard, about Columbus United FC, and I'll let you take the floor, man. What a performance. And how was the overall night and the feeling from the Columbus United FC program?
It was a good feeling. A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium was a great venue. J.D. Hester, Michael Hitchcock, your cousin Paxton Bush, Elaney Hitchcock, they all did a great job putting on this event. We had the pregame show there. The fans were incredible. A big shout out to Victor Feliciano. He is actually head of the Columbus United FC fan club. They had the flags, like the atmosphere that you get at a soccer match. That's what you saw at AJ McClung. A very good crowd. They were taking on Tennessee SC, who had the 1-0 lead all the way up until the 82nd minute when Carter Berg ends up tying it. The place just went nuts because I actually thought, it's hard enough to come back from a 1-goal deficit, especially in the 82nd minute when they tied that. And then in the 90th minute in extra time, it looked like that Fontaine got the go-ahead goal. Everybody was excited. Columbus United takes the 2-1 lead, but wait, the refs waved it off because a player was offsides. Now, we could go back and look at the replay, but, they don't have VAR, which that's basically the instant replay for soccer.
Yep.
But, yeah, it was backbreaking. It was, but a point is a point. A tie is better than a loss. They get the 1-1 tie. Now, I'm not a fan of ties. I don't know how you feel about ties, Thrift, but
I don't like it either, but I understand it.
Soccer.
Yeah, and it's exactly, Rich. And that's just that's how it is. But I wish they would have went the extras. At least play it out, give them a few extra minutes. And then if you don't want to do, but in penalty kicks, I think you should just try to win. That's just in my opinion. But what would your overall thoughts with United and who they got coming up?
Well, they're going to be on the road taking on Birmingham Legion FC2. There is a watch party at Highside Market, and that is going to be in Birmingham. That's going to be on the road. Their next home match this Saturday at AJ McClung, taking on Dothan United. Victor was telling me that this is a huge rivalry. The two cities, Dothan and Columbus. Big shout out to Philip Jordan. He actually writes for the Wiregrass down in Dothan and covers Dothan United. So I actually was trying to pick his brain to see if he knew something about Dothan United. I told him I was going to be on the call. I want to thank Chris Gates really for helping me on the broadcast. Unfortunately, we were not able to live stream it on our platform. Because of the USL rules, we had to live stream it on NBC Sports Engine Play. And so that's the only way you could see the live stream of the match. But we could share that link, and then the next day we could put it on our platform. So I'm looking forward to going out there on Saturday. I know with my full-time job, I'm not going to be able to call all the games, but I could at least call the majority of the games.
And they're going to be home this Saturday. And listen, this Saturday is going to have graduation. Columbus United FC, NAIA
Lot,
World Series, and the
lot of
Columbus
stuff
Clean
going
Zone.
on.
So
Yeah, that whole
busy.
part. How are you going to be able to find a parking spot when you got the Clean Stones graduation, the NAIA World Series, and Columbus United Soccer? That is crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy.
They're going to have to get that overflow parking all the way on where Lumpkin Street is. They're going to have to find something. But yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, what a great atmosphere. And yeah, Columbus United FC. I'm telling you, it's here, and the fans are lively, and it's a great soccer environment.
So that was at Memorial Stadium, and it'll happen again this week. We'll have a Columbus United show hopefully coming up maybe Wednesday. If their game is on, is their game on Wednesday or Tuesday?
Their game is on Wednesday, so I may have to reach out to Coach Teach and maybe get a show on Tuesday.
Yeah, either Tuesday or maybe we'll even have that on Thursday and get a reaction after that game, and then talk about the upcoming game as well. So plan on Thursday for that. All right, now let's talk about Columbus United. Columbus United, the Columbus Lions. And it's funny. A few roster changes here or there. The coaching staff stays the same. And guess what? The Lions went into the undefeated Beaumont Renegades and beat them. They were up by 19 in the first half. They ended up winning the game 40-37. Espinoza went sensational again. This is his third straight game. He's been lights out. The defense made plays, and I was really impressed from what I saw with them. Now the Lions go to 4-3. They are pretty much solidified as second place, and if they can finish out strong, who knows? Maybe Beaumont can lose a few more. I don't see it. I think they're going to be the number 2 seed, but the Lions going on the road to beat the only team that's undefeated gives me really good thought that this is the best team. And now with the roster changes they've made, they got the best coaching staff. Lions are going to win a championship again. And I know everyone that threw them under the bed and said, oh, man, that's 3 straight losses. The season's done. Well, you never count out Damian Daniels and Nighthawk in this team. What a performance by them, Richard. To go on the road and to win the way they did and to get off to the hot start. That's another thing that's been different with this Lions team is the past 2 weeks, instead of getting off the slow starts and having to come back, no, Richard, they got off to a great start. They've gone up by double-digit points in consecutive games, and now you're seeing a team that's playing its best football. They are now 2 games back. They're on a 2-game winning streak, and I was just, man, what a performance against the Renegade and Espinoza. Now on the season, I'm looking at his stats. Vincent Espinoza now has 3 interceptions, 22 incompletions, 12 touchdown passes. He had 5 last game, 3 the game before that, and 4 against Beaumont. So 5 the one at home, 4 this past week, and then 3 the week before that. So 12 in total, and he has been lights out. The rushing attack between Espinoza, who's been able to get stuff done on the ground. Obviously, Marco Lee, the addition of speedster Travion Samuel, and then Tremel Gooden, who has now extended his touchdowns to 8 on the season. You still got Fortson. Brian Robinson's been great. This team's looking like it's playing its best football, Richard.
Yeah, you talk about Jarmon Fortson having 3 of those touchdown passes that was thrown by Vincent Espinoza. He threw 3 touchdown receptions to Jarmon Fortson. It's tough playing on the road, especially in the NAL, but the Columbus Lions going out to that fast start, able to take down the best team in the NAL record-wise. For the Beaumont Renegades to lose their first game of the season, that's got to give the Lions confidence to know that not only going to make the playoffs, but they could get some upsets in the playoffs on the road. And who knows what could happen if they can get to the NAL championship. And this is the ultimate goal. The Columbus Lions have never won a championship in the NAL. This is the goal for all the players, and definitely the goal for Coach Daniels, because he's familiar with playing in championships in the NAL. You look at 2017, their first year in the NAL, they lose to Jacksonville. 2018, they lose to Carolina. 2021, they lose to Albany. And then that was the last time they were in the NAL in a championship. And then, they went to 2 different leagues, won 2 championships, and now on a 2-game win streak after losing 3 in a row. the Columbus Lions are playing their best football right now. And I think that it's the difference of the different style of quarterback. And by the way, just got to give credit to Marcus Brooks. He's retired. Congratulations to him on a very successful career as a Columbus Lion. He's won 2 rings with the Columbus Lions.
Yeah,
I just wanted to throw that out there because, he really did
I was
going to
get to that. I'll tell you. And when he stepped up these last 2 years, not only be a stopgap, but be a leader and help organize and get this organization that was kind of left in shambles from the previous regime. I was super impressed by him. 2-time league MVP, 2-time champion. Incredible career for him. His son's doing great things, Southwest Macon. He's still one of my guys. Love Marcus Brooks. Love what he represents. And he has moved on and retired, but I know he's cheering for those Lions. Coach Daniel's appreciative of him. The Lions organization and fan base are appreciative of him, and we still love you. Number 17, champion. Can never take that away from him, MVP. Thank you again to Marcus Brooks for everything that he has done for this Lions organization. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back from break, we got more here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We'll talk about what we got coming up this week. Plus, we'll end it with some unsolicited hot take. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this. Georgia Alabama Sports Live wants to say thank you to one of our presenting sponsors, Buffalo Rock, and their partnership with everything that we do. And without businesses like Buffalo Rock, we wouldn't be able to go cover softball, volleyball games, every type of high school sport you can think of, local college games, and professional. So thank you to those businesses that support us, and specifically Buffalo Rock. And next time you're watching a Georgia Alabama Sports Live broadcast after a nice long day, why not enjoy it with a nice refreshing Sorry? The best lemon lime soda around. Thank you to Sorry and Buffalo Rock for our partnership on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Hi, my name is Griff Gordy, and here at Gordy Eye Care, we have been serving the Bi-City community for 17 years. As a former state championship quarterback, I love the fact that I can watch local high school athletics from the comfort of my own home. So it was a no-brainer to support Georgia Alabama Sports Live and what they do for young athletes in our area.
And without business like yourself, Gordy Eye Care, none of our coverage would be possible to be able to cover these 16 different high schools, the local colleges, and professional teams. So we'd like to say thank you to you, Dr. Griff Gordy and Gordy Eye Care, for your support of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And then you can make an appointment today at Gordy Eye Care with the number 334-291-5125. Keep supporting Gordy Eye Care and keep watching Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Welcome back, everyone, to Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Richard Holdridge, Thrift, Barringer, and we've had a fantastic show so far. Coming up this week, tomorrow we don't have really much of anything big, Rich. Potentially Columbus United, but probably going to have that on Thursday if we can. Tomorrow we'll try to. I really don't have. I don't think anything on the schedule. It'll be an off day for us on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Maybe throw up some old content replays. We had replays or
what show.
Honestly, what we're going to do is probably share where we're going to be at tomorrow, and we'll have that going and upload it for everyone to be able to see. On Wednesday, we have the Inside the GIAA show. We'll have our other show on Wednesday, Georgia Alabama Sports Live, so make sure to watch that night. We'll plan on having Inside the Den, Columbus United as well, to talk about their big week as they got a big win and over Beaumont. Look forward to talking to Coach Daniels and Nathan Fleury for Inside the Den coaches show, for Columbus Lions coaches show. Thursday, we got Pacelli soccer. And on Friday, we're going to be at the Brookstone game. Saturday, we got Columbus United FC. And then next week, we'll be doing our shows, obviously, that we'll be attacking, and some other content that we are going to be putting out there that we can think of, Big Rich. And then on top of all that, we will be at the GIAA state championship series, and hopefully Brookstone will be there. We'll cover that and call those games for the GIAA. And then on Saturday, we got Columbus Lions football game being hosted on May the 31st. So we can't wait to be back in the Civic Center for that. And then summer starts in June, we'll have Lions and United. The only things going on, we'll have Summer League basketball starting soon as well. It really doesn't stop for us, but can't wait also to start in the next couple of weeks sitting with an athletic director, state of the programs. So can't wait to get that series back up and running, as that will be a lot of fun. But for this week, we got Pacelli Soccer on Thursday, Brookstone on baseball on Friday, and Columbus United on Saturday. So that is kind of the week, and we have a United show, we have Lions show, and we have also our show coming up and inside the GIAA. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into what is one of my favorite segments, Unsolicited Hot Take. And I got some of them for you. So let's go NBA first, and we'll talk conference finals. For the first time, we're going to have a new champion. Either the Thunder, the Pacers, or the Timberwolves are going to win their first in franchise history, or the Knicks are going to win it for the first time in almost 60 years. Last time it was 1973, in which they won back-to-back, Big Rich. The Knicks did, and that's when Walt Clyde Frazier and Willis Reed were, and Phil Jackson was a player.
Mm-hmm.
That's before he was even a coach. That's how long it's been. So I want Knicks Timberwolves. I want Ant-Man in Madison Square Garden. And to be honest, if it's OKC and Knicks, I'm fine with that. Which team do I like watching basketball? If it's just like the play on the court, I love the Indiana Pacers. But in terms of what moves the needle and what would be thrilling and just take the NBA by storm is if the New York Knickerbockers make it. And I think the New York Knicks, I think they're going to handle their business. If they got home court in this conference finals, it's funny, TNT's hosting it. Reggie Miller's going to be on the call. And in the final TNT broadcast, Reggie Miller's calling a New York Knicks Pacers conference finals. And tell me if we haven't seen that once, twice, 3, 4 times in the 90s.
Made a 30 for 30 on it.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. So I can't wait. Winning Time, which is one of my favorite 30 for 30s. I can't wait for that to start. And that will be on Wednesday, Richard. Let's first start with the Eastern Conference. Pacers play on the court. That 5 of Nembhard, Neesmith, Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner, they're probably one of the best offensive teams we got in the NBA. They're playing great basketball. But something about this Knicks team just makes me feel like they're not going to lose. And with the Miles McBride and Mitchell Robinson giving them some bench production, so it makes Tom Thibodeau have to play those guys, and he's not killing and making guys play 58 minutes in a game, I'm going to lean Knicks in this. But I promise you, it depends on who wins game 1. If Pacers win game 1, I think they win the series. If Knicks win game 1, I think the Knicks win the series. It is going to be it's going to be telling to see how this one plays out. Brunson versus Halliburton. I mean, come on, man. You got high-flying Anthony Towns going against Miles Turner. You got Bridges and OG Anunoby going against Pascal Siakam. You got Nembhard and Neesmith that are going to be guarding, taking turns guarding Jalen Brunson and the likes. You got Thibodeau going against Rick Carlisle, defensive-minded coach versus an offensive-minded coach. This could not be a better matchup. I am leaning Knicks, but would not be surprised. And honestly, heading into this series, I think the Pacers are the better team. But I think the NBA wants the Knicks in it. I mean, why not? If right now, I mean, what you think Pacers Thunder's moving the needle and getting ratings? Knicks Timberwolves? Yeah, that makes sense. How do you see this series playing out? I got Knicks going in at least 6 or 7. I'm going to lean 7, and I'm hoping it goes 7, and I hope every game goes down to the wire and we get an epic conference finals.
Well, let's see. The Knicks have home court. If Indiana somehow, some way steals a game at the Garden, I see the Pacers winning this series because I think it's going to be hard to overcome that home crowd in Indianapolis, which is going to be lively and ruckus. I don't know how the Pacers are doing this. This is the second time they've gotten to the conference finals. They smoked a Cleveland Cavaliers team that pretty much got the regular season award. They're the 2005 Phoenix Suns. They're the 2015 Atlanta Hawks. Just a great regular season, stumbling in the postseason. That's what the Cavaliers did. This Pacers team looks like they could make it to the NBA Finals. But I think this Knicks team is a team of destiny. Jalen Brunson is the guy you want in a clutch situation. When you need a basket, Jalen Brunson, he can get that. OG
He's been the most
Anunoby.
clutch player the entire year, Rich.
Yes, he has.
Entire
Yes.
Rich.
Karl Anthony Towns, a great offensive player, an upgrade from Julius Randle, and of course, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. This whole team, which I've always been critical of the way Tom Thibodeau runs his team into the ground in the regular season. Just look at the 2011 Chicago Bulls. But the thing about this is he's wanting to try to get a championship. He's kind of evolved as a coach. He's not running them into the ground like he's done before. So maybe this is a new leaf that's turned for the New York Knicks. So I like the Knicks in this series. It is definitely going to go 7. This is going to be an all-timer. I mean, it's a rivalry renewed. I mean, I remember how fascinating those rivalries were in 94 and in 95. And then they met again in 2000. I think they met again in 99. Well, the Knicks were an 8 seed. I know that they got to the finals in 99. That was when Patrick Ewing was hurt. They had Latrell Sprewell. But yeah, I tell you what, the NBA needs this because Knicks fans were celebrating in the streets like they just won a championship after they took down the Celtics. And then Stephen A. Smith, he's just giddy besides himself because the Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Think about how long it's been these last 26 years for these Knicks team that have not made it since the 2000 NBA Eastern Conference Finals. And by the way, they lost to the Pacers in 6. And the Pacers went on to play the Lakers, and that was their first of a three-peat with Kobe and Shaq, and with Reggie Miller, Jalen Rose. That was a great Pacers team. But let me tell you, the Knicks outplayed the Boston Celtics, and even if Tatum doesn't get hurt, and he was on his way for a great game, I still think the Knicks win this series. I still think the Knicks were going, and I hate it. And I'm going to talk about the injury bug here in a second that's kind of deflated what was an epic first round and thought was going to be a great playoffs, and it just was deflated by injuries. I want to add this. Let me tell you how the growth of Tom Thibodeau, that only one guy played over 40 minutes a game in the entire series, average over 40 minutes a game, and that was Mikal Bridges. He played 40.9. Karl Anthony Towns, 33.7. Jalen Brunson, 38.1. Josh Hart, 36.7. OG, 38 minutes. And Miles Bridges and Mitchell Robinson off the bench averaged 22.5 and 20.6 points per minute. And Mitchell Robinson put up 4.7 points a game, 8 rebounds, and had a couple of blocks. Miles McBride put up 8 points a game. If they get that type of production with the starting 5 of Hart, Anunoby, Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jalen Brunson, I like this Knicks team to move on. So maybe we're seeing the progression of what you said about, and I agree with you, Tom Thibodeau running his guys into the ground. Now, before we talk about the Western Conference Finals, I hate the fact that something's got to give. Something's got to change with the NBA scheduling. LeBron gets hurt. Steph Curry gets hurt. Tatum gets hurt. Aaron Gordon gets hurt during some point. How about Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and DeAndre Hunter all get hurt for Cleveland? Are you kidding me, Rich? Damian Lillard gets hurt. Took away from the Bucks. I mean, we had an epic first-round matchups, even with some of the injuries. And for when Curry got hurt, it really just took out a lot of the luster. I'm hoping no more injuries come about it, but the NBA's got a real problem that they need to change, and maybe more in lines with maybe less games in the regular season, number one. And number two, guys, Warriors, Lakers, you can't rely on 37 and 40-year-olds to play all these minutes. Think about the amount of miles Steph Curry and LeBron James had to put on just to get their team in the top of the Western Conference. Heck, for the Golden State to even make the playoffs. All right, and they finally wore on them. And you had a hamstring strain. You had an injury. Now you got Tatum, who's obviously, I mean, that's just a fatigue because they've been on so many late, deep playoff runs, and these seasons are going over 100 games. Something needs to change because I hate when stars get out, and I know injuries are part of the game, but I feel like a lot of this is self-inflicted by the NBA and how many games they play in the regular season. So I think they can change this, and it has been an epic playoffs. As a fanatic, I'm okay with how the conference finals play out. I'm okay with Pacers, Thunder. I mean, not Pacers, Thunder, Timberwolves, Pacers, Knicks. I think it's still going to be interesting. But again, you had a chance to maybe have LeBron or Steph Curry in those conference finals with the Knicks, and we don't get it because of injuries. I can't. I hate that, and I hate it for the league. So hopefully they'll be able to change something in the near future, Rich.
I do hate it for the league, but we are going to get our 7th champion in 7 years. I remember 20 years ago that only a handful of teams won championships. The Bulls, the Spurs, the Lakers, the Heat, the Warriors. I mean, you could count like the multiple dynasties on your hand. And now all of a sudden, we got Denver coming out of nowhere winning a championship. We got Toronto winning a championship.
There
Milwaukee win. I love it. I love it for that city. I love seeing the parade with the Toronto Raptors when they won the championship, even though they're never going to experience this again because Kawhi is going to the Clippers. The Denver Nuggets, I thought they could get back. And by the way, I seriously thought Denver was going to win Game 7 just because they were battle tested, but they were too old and they ran out of juice, and Aaron Gordon was hurt. And OKC was the younger, more energetic team, and they were playing at home. And that's why any one of these teams, if they win a championship, it is a huge storyline. Of course, we all want to see the Knicks because they haven't won a championship since 1973. That would be a great storyline. The Timberwolves with Anthony Edwards, who could possibly be the next face of the league, to get a ring, that would be huge for his brand. And then for the Oklahoma City Thunder, yes, the Seattle Supersonics won a championship back in 1979, but they got so close in 2012. And I remember I was rooting for the Thunder with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden to beat the Miami Heat because I couldn't stand them with the big three. Say what you want. If you like the Heat, that's fine. You're a basketball fan, that's great. It's just that, different basketball fans, you either rooted for them or you rooted against them. And so I rooted for the Thunder in 2012. And then finally, the Indiana Pacers, who won several ABA championships. They got to the finals in 2000. A lot of what ifs with the Pacers. I think if Malice at the Palace doesn't happen in 2004, I think that 2004 team could possibly win the championship. And I'd be happy for the Pacers too. So a lot of great storylines with the 4 teams remaining in the conference finals.
I agree with you on that. And by the way, let's go to the Western Conference. I was kind of disappointed in what I saw from Denver, but I just think that their legs and they're older and they've been battle tested, but they also got a lot of miles on them, and that caught up with them. And the Thunder came up big, and I'll tell you, I've been a kind of critic of Jalen Williams, and he came up huge.
Great.
He was great, and Chet Holmgren was great. Shea Gill just shows you why he's an MVP, and they just ran them out the gym. I think they're going to have a little bit tougher time being able to do that with the athleticism of Minnesota and the bigs. And I think this is going to be a heck of a matchup, Shea versus Ant-Man. And really both of them are trying to see who's the best young guy coming in the league right now. Shea saying it's him. He's an MVP. But Anthony Edwards says, if I win, I don't care about MVP. I've taken my team to conference finals and an NBA finals for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, come on, man. So good win for Minnesota. I mean, for OKC. Minnesota beat a team that they were just better than without Steph Curry. I really didn't learn much about them. I'll tell you, Julius Randle, that trade for him and Karl-Anthony Towns, it's the first time I've ever seen where both teams benefited from this.
Yes.
And I'll give credit again to Karl-Anthony. I mean, Julius Randle, just like I am with Jalen Williams. They've proven me wrong, and now they're both going to be heading in the conference finals. I'm going to go Minnesota, because I think that these guys were in it last year and understand what it takes to get to the NBA Finals and how close they were last year. So I'm going to go Minnesota in 6, because if it goes 7, I got OKC winning. I get Minnesota winning games 1 or 2, winning both at home, losing game 5, and then coming back in game 6 and winning that and going 4-2 heading to the NBA Finals. I just think Anthony Edwards is going to be the best player in the series. I think Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein are going to have a tough time with Randall and Rudy Gobert and the rebounding of them, plus with the what's the LSU guy that I'm thinking of right now, Richard, that is the just won 6th Man of the Year last year, who was incredible for Minnesota. I cannot believe I just lost my train of thought. If you're listening out there, please comment. I cannot believe
you missed it. Jaden McDaniels, right?
Not Jaden McDaniels, even though he's a great player. And I was going to say
Nas
Reed, who was the 6th Man of the Year last year. Jaden McDaniels is going to he's going to guard probably Shea and take turns with Anthony Edwards. They got defense that can put on them. They can match their athleticism. And I like Chris Finch as a coach. I think he's a heck of a coach. What do you got, Big Rich, in this one? Thunder or the Timberwolves?
Well, before I give my pick, let's give credit to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Back-to-back conference finals. The last time they made a conference finals was 2004. They had all those first-round exits with Kevin Garnett. They got their franchise player now, and I think that the Timberwolves – I'm pulling for the Timberwolves to get to the finals. I want to see them get to the finals. However, it's going to be a tough task because they're going to have to take on Oklahoma City Thunder in OKC. They have the home court. They got to steal either game 1 or game 2. I think if it goes back to Minnesota tied 1-1, the Timberwolves have a chance to maybe win it in 6. I think it's a toss-up if it gets to a game 7. I do like OKC's chances at home. They just got so much energy. Like the way they just ran the Denver Nuggets out of the gym in
Unreal.
game 7. Yeah, it was shocking, really, because I thought that Jokic and Jamal Murray, they were going to take over. But I think that grade 2 hamstring injury by Aaron Gordon was a huge factor. Even though he played, I was shocked he played. But yeah, OKC, they can match the intensity of what Minnesota can do. Minnesota does have size with Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid and Julius Randle. But I think that if Oklahoma City with Hardenstein and Chet Holmgren, they're going to have to try to match that size. But I do think that Oklahoma City relies too much on, trying to force turnovers, and they build off that energy in their crowd. But I think that Minnesota ends up winning, and we get the dream matchup: Timberwolves and Knicks in the NBA Finals.
Last thing I want to wrap up this with is, for one, Knicks fans, better hope throwing that trash bag at that poor Pacers fan doesn't come back to haunt you. That's one. Number 2, by the way, Halliburton invited him to game 4 of the conference finals. I know everybody saw that by a reel. And then number 2, I do want to talk about the Clark Angel Reese thing.
Here we go.
So Caitlin Clark's a baller. You cannot deny it. And the Pacers look like an elite team with her, Aaliyah Boston. They're dominant, man. Indiana Fever, excuse me. And for the Chicago Sky to get just obliterated by 30 points, I mean, this was more – it was – she had complete control of that game. And Angel Reese is a great player, but I think we all got to be real with ourselves in this. If we're having a conversation, if this is Juju Watkins and Caitlin Clark, it'd be hard for me to say who's the better out of the two. And one-on-one, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about who brings more to the game, Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark. And I don't think it's really close right now. Rebounding, yes, but Clark had a triple-double. Now, I know Reese had 17, but she only had 12 points. Are you seeing progression from Angel Reese's post-up game, in which throw her the rock and let her get a bucket? She only had 12 points. Okay, Caitlin Clark had a factor in 10 assists. She had 20 points. She has a hand, and whether you like her or not, she has a hand in every part of that Indiana Fever's offense. Angel Reese does not have that yet. Will she get to that point? I think so. But a lot of this stuff that's happening is outside factors that have nothing to do with either girl. For one, I think Angel Reese's mom kind of brings some light onto her, which I don't agree with. And I think parents kind of should stay out of kids talking trash to each other and part of the game because they don't get to play. So in the end, why are we listening to you? Okay. We should hear from Angel. We should hear from Caitlin. That's it. 2, yeah, I don't like some of the fan base that follows Caitlin Clark, but neither does Caitlin Clark, and is she and the entire Fever saying we have no patience for the racism and everything that comes with that. We've seen it in years past. But we cannot allow some ignorant people to take away from what is the positive, which is we're talking WNBA basketball. Reese and Caitlin Clark was one of the most watched games this weekend, and we had a game 7 in the NBA playoffs. Come on, man. That is what we're talking about. We're never going to get past these ignorant people. What Caitlin does, and she does right, is she comes out, she tells them she has nothing to do with them. She disassociates herself with that. Angel Reese does the same thing. I had no problem with her reacting the way she did. Yes, I think it was a little bit aggressive. I do think Clark was trying to just play a basketball play, maybe a little bit of frustration in that. Reese got frustrated back at her. That's the end of the discussion. okay? It's not the first time we've seen a hard foul. Watch the NBA all the time. We see this all the time. To say this is an egregious foul, we would say that every time in the NBA. Watch every NBA game, they're fouling just like that. So let's not blow this out of proportion. And it took away from what was a good performance from both girls. But you got to admit to yourself, right now, who is a more important player? Who's a more impactful player? It has to be Caitlin Clark right now. Look what just happened. And don't give me that the Fever have a better team. The Fever 2 years ago were the worst team in the WNBA. Clark comes on, and now girls are developing, and they'll be putting in good positions because they got a point guard that puts them in that position. Chicago's going to be a great team this year. But Angel Reese has got to work on her post game to be more dominant, in my opinion. I'm talking strictly basketball right now. I'm not talking about anything else. Strictly basketball. Angel Reese's game reminds me of someone like not even a stretch four, just someone that can rebound, get put back buckets, a cleanup person. And I think she needs to take her game to another level, which is start being that, hey, give me the rock. I can give you 25 and 15 like Asia Wilson. When she gets to that, not saying she won't, because, again, this is only year 2 in the league for her. But Caitlin Clark's coming in a little bit more developed in her year 2, and you're seeing that now.
Yeah, I think if Angel Reese had a jump shot, I think that she would be dominant as a physical post player. Yeah, I agree. I can't believe we're talking WNBA, and it's because it's Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. This rivalry has been fascinating for the last 2 years, and it started with Angel Reese pointing to her ring finger, the most iconic photo we have had in the last 2 years. And by the way, Caitlin Clark's 5-1 after that photo was taken. Caitlin Clark has completely moved the needle in the WNBA. We're seeing little girls in elementary school wearing Indiana Fever number 22 jerseys. I've never seen this for any WNBA player in my lifetime. And I know, look, the WNBA had great players before Caitlin Clark got there. It's just that Caitlin Clark, like Michael Woods mentioned on the Sports Vision show, she just kicked open the door. I mean, you have Maya Moore, you had Diana Taurasi, you had Sue Bird, great WNBA players. And right now, the best WNBA player is Asia Wilson. But I can almost guarantee you, the defending champion, New York Liberty, and the Las Vegas Aces probably got a pretty good rating. That was the first game, the showcase game on Saturday. Chicago Sky, Indiana Fever probably blew the ratings out of the water because it is Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And I cannot wait for the ESPN 30 for 30 on this rivalry. Yeah. It's got everybody in America talking about it. And I do want to say, welcome back, Greg Doyle. I read his article in the Indianapolis Star. He is back from his 1-year suspension, and he's writing about Caitlin Clark. So bravo to you, sir. You made a mistake. It was an awkward comment, but now let's get back to work, and you deserve to get back and write about the Indiana Fever.
Well, we want to thank everyone that is tuned in tonight. We'll be back again on Wednesday. We got several shows. We got playoff GIAA soccer with Pacelli. And then we also got Brookstone playoff baseball on Friday. Pacelli girls soccer, 6 p.m. on Thursday. Brookstone doubleheader starting 2 and 5. Game 3 on Saturday. So make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the Sports Vision Morning Show.
There we go.
We'll see you next time. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet, GMC, Gordy, Eye Care, Kinetic Pet Credit Union, and Buffalo Rock Pepsi. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you next time on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Thank you for watching the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. You're ready to smile.